Hello and welcome, excuse me, to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen James, channel that brings you Rangers news every single day, and we don't even charge you for that privilege, guys. No Patreon, no paywalls here, nothing hidden. It's all out in the open. Please obviously smash the sub and like the content. Well, what are we going to talk about in this video? It's obviously a massive week for Rangers. We're going to talk a little bit of Celtic on Sunday, a little bit of a look ahead to that. We're going to talk a bit of transfer rumours as well as a bit of those swimming around at this moment in time. We're going to talk a little bit of obviously looking at the two upcoming fixtures. And we're also going to talk about the fact that Killjoys, the woke, seem to be taking over football now as well, and pretty much destroying the game, in my opinion. There's far too many people who just want to take all the joy out of football, and you know what I mean. So we'll get to that, and that's all around the Danilo celebration on Sunday. But let's talk a little bit of transfer rumour first of all. You know, look, we all love a transfer rumour, don't we? And, you know, we're fast approaching January, or, you know, the January transfer window. It's, you know, it's an exciting time where clubs obviously are linked with different players, and, you know, fans get excited about who might be arriving, who might be departing. And we all know. We all know that this is the case. And look, I understand that what I'm about to say, it could be a load of pish. It could be a load of rubbish, you know, but it's still nice to talk about, I think. And some of you will not. Some of you will obviously criticise me and say, you know what, it's a load of rubbish, and you're talking crap. But I know that. I know I could be. I know it could all be a load of rubbish. But it also could be true. We don't know. No one knows. The only people that know, I suppose, are the parties involved, which is Rangers Football Club and the players involved in this situation. So, look, we do know that transfer rumours could all be a load of old tosh, pish, crap, and assorted other things. Right, so we're going to talk about a rumour that refuses to go away, and one that does indeed concern me. And we're going to look at a player that we could possibly miss out on because of our lack of money. Hence the title of the video today, Where's the Money? I think that's a question we need to ask of the board. And I think, you know, it came up, didn't it, in the AGM. I think someone asked, you know, about the manager being substantially backed, a question that was very skillfully swerved by the board. You know, if you asked me to put my card on the table with going into January, what would we be looking at in January? What the situation would be in terms of purchasing and bringing you to the club, I would say that the strong likelihood is that any moves in terms of actually buying players, physically going out and buying players, would depend on departures first of all to raise funds for those purchases. I think the vast majority of any, if any, transfers will come through frees and loans with options or even obligations to buy in the summer. I think that is very, very likely. Now, we're going to start with a rumour that refuses to go away. Now, according to a number of sources, including sources in England, the Joe Gelhardt to Rangers rumour continues to carry a pace. Now, Joe Gelhardt, a player that seems very much surplus to requirements, having only had 2 appearances for Leeds in the Championship this season. A man who came through the youth system at Wigan, who had a loan spell at Sunderland. I think it's fair to say that, you know, in the places that he's been in terms of that loan spell at Sunderland, and I think a lot of it was how he was used, he never really lived up to perhaps, you know, the promise that he's kind of been showing for the 21s in B team games for Leeds, for Wigan when he played there. He's never really ever sort of fulfilled that potential, and looks like he probably could, you know, miss out completely on fulfilling that potential. You know, he seems to have slipped down the pecking order at Leeds behind the likes of Patrick Bamford and Matteo Joseph, and I think the other guy's Gerald Perrault, who Rangers were reportedly interested in. According to a number of sources, apparently Joe Gelhardt does favour a move to Rangers in the January transfer window. Now, those other teams, there are a number of other English Championship teams that are reportedly interested in the Leeds forward stroke attacking midfielder stroke 10. Those teams being Portsmouth, Preston North End, and Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. Now, it's felt that Leeds are willing to listen to offers for the young man. Now, whether or not that is a situation where it would be a purchase or whether it be a loan with an option, you know, is unclear at this point. he, like I said, he is struggling to get game time at Leeds. He isn't really figuring it. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, look, people say, well, I mean, I think I had someone yesterday commenting, "Oh, in the manager, oh, in the scout." Yeah, well, you didn't listen to the video, did you? You just came on to troll. So you know what? I don't really care about your opinion. If you're gonna be a twat, I don't want to know. Um, at the end of the day, I've watched a lot of Joe Gelhardt. I actually have. I watch a lot of English Championship football. I've seen him play for Leeds. I've seen him play for Sunderland. I've got to say, I'm not massively impressed. I am not hugely impressed with him in the slightest. Um, I think the old adage is you only buy players who are going to improve your team and you're going to add to your team. Now, if you're talking of Joe Gelhardt as a striker, which he isn't, he's not an out and out striker. And I think if anyone at the club is kind of looking at him and saying, "Oh, look, there's our new striker. There's someone who can come in and replace perhaps Cyril Dessers if we sell him in January." I think are living in cloud cuckoo land and are not actually watching the player for what he is. He isn't a striker. He's not an out and out nine. He's not an out and out striker, which is very much what Rangers need. And we'll touch on what Rangers need shortly. He's more a 10. He's more an attacking midfield player. Can play wide. That's sort of the areas he can play. I mean, he's more sort of that central kind of role. Now, I would argue that what's the point of spending more money on a player we don't really need when we've already got Yanis Hadji and we've got Nadeem Bayrami? It's just adding players to position that we don't really need to strengthen. Now, unless, of course, there's something we don't know about one of those two players moving on in January or being loaned out in January, we don't know. Hopefully not, because they're both very talented footballers. But I would honestly say that there's no need. There is literally no need for Joe Gelhardt. And I don't think he adds to the team. I don't think he improves the team. His statistics are not great. I think it's something like 8, 9 goals in his entire career. He's not exactly prolific, which is something we certainly need, a prolific striker. I genuinely think that this would be a very bad move for the club to sign someone like Joe Gelhardt. I don't, like I said, I don't rate the guy at all. Now, the other one that has kind of sparked a little bit of interest is the Chelsea youth team player. This would be a loan move for Rangers, as this guy is rated around the £20 million mark. Certainly something that is well out of Rangers' financial remit. His name is Carney, and here comes a slaughter of a last name, Chukwuemeka. He is, he's a young, very promising player. He's a player who, hasn't really broken through, and is, I think, that Chelsea are perhaps a little bit disappointed that he hasn't made that next step yet. I think there's a feeling within the club that he needs a bit of experience. He needs to go out, or even, they're willing to listen to offers for the player. He's an attacking midfielder, a left winger. Again, I can kind of see the need for a left winger because Cortez is injury prone. Matondo's just not very good. Now, Chukwuemeka was born in Eschenstadt in Austria. He came up through the Villa youth system for signing for Chelsea, where he's made a number of appearances for Chelsea already, including appearances in the Conference League this season. In total, he's made 31 appearances for Chelsea, scoring 2 goals. Like I said, his price tag is very, very high, and I think that certainly would put Rangers off a move for Chukwuemeka. However, it appears that that any move for him could well be scuppered by Rangers' lack of money. The inability to stump up a loan fee, the inability to stump up the wages for the player, the percentage of wages that Chelsea would want Rangers to take on. Obviously, Chelsea do need to do some adjustments around FFP. So it appears that the lack of money and the lack of funds to actually go out and buy these players or even pay loan fees and pay wages for these players is affecting the recruitment already. According to Calcio Mercato in Italy, AC Milan are in pole position to sign Chukwuemeka in January on loan with an option to buy, and that Chukwuemeka actually does favour a move to AC Milan. However, according to reports in Italy as well, Celtic are also interested in Chukwuemeka as well. Not only on, again, another one with a loan with an option to buy. It's obviously felt very much that Chelsea have a substantial amount more money than Rangers, so can afford to pay for the player. Look, I'll be honest with you, money is a big concern for me going into the January transfer window. We need money. We need to be able to spend some money to strengthen this team. yes, these performances of late have been improved, and we've got Thursday and Sunday coming up. It could all end in disaster. It could all end in even more joy with 2 victories from 2. But I think there is obviously a need to put some money out there to sign some players. I honestly believe Rangers still, and I'm not saying for a minute that in January we go and sign 5 players. I don't think that's possible or sensible. But you can look for say 2 out of these, maybe 3 at a push out of this little list that I've come up with. I think we still need a centre forward. We need someone who's prolific, someone who's going to put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis, someone who will add some extra quality to that forward line alongside Hamza Igaman and Danilo. I think Dessa should be moved on in January. I really do. I think we should go and try and get somebody a bit more prolific, with a bit more ability to put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. Centre back, I think, is another position that needs to be addressed. Big Leon's doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, and again, this is a very biased pro Leon opinion, but Big Leon's doing a good job. At the back for Rangers, he really is, and even at his age, but. With the fact that Robin Proper looks a little better than Ben Davis, I think there is a need to go and get another centre-back for me to really strengthen that position, to play alongside the indomitable John Suter. Winger, I feel, is a need as well. We've got Cheney, we've got Cortez when fit, but behind them, there's not a lot of quality, not a lot of support, not a lot of ability there. Ross McCausland tries harder, he's more a squad player. Bobby Matondo is just genuinely useless. So, I think there is a real need for me to go out and get a winger, to go and sign someone who can play the left side or right side to add to this winger core. And especially if you consider that Philippe Clement likes to play with fast, quick wingers. And at the moment, he really hasn't got that luxury. He's only really got Cheney with, Bayrami sometimes filling out on the left, Hamza, change of formation, all of those sorts of things. So, look, I do feel that, that is a position that does need to be addressed. Centre midfielder, I think he wants to add. I think it's well known he wants to add another centre midfielder. And right back, I think right back is another top priority. I mean, obviously we've got Dujon Sterling. We do need, I think, another right back as well. So that is my little list. I mean, feel free to add to it, guys, in the comments. Drop me a comment. Let me know who you think would be a good move for Rangers in this January transfer window. But like I said to you, the big, massive concern for me is obviously the lack of money. And, the fact that we don't know how much yet the Rangers board are going to put into this January transfer window. Is it going to be a case where we have to sell to buy or trade off players and move, obviously, wages off? Not trade off, sorry, sell off. I do apologise. Sell off players to move wages on. What is the situation there? So, look. It is all opinion, and like I said to you at the start of this little segment, these transfer rumours could all be a load of bollocks. I mean, of course they could. Transfer rumours are, on the whole. So but money is a big worry for me, and if we're going to go on to compete, we're going to go on to kick on, and I think Clement does want to strengthen. I think that's kind of leaked out from the club. The board need to put their money where their mouth is. Right, so look, it's a massive week for Rangers, huge week with Tottenham on Thursday, Celtic on Sunday. Hopefully 2 victories, but it's going to be really tough against a very, a decent Tottenham team. Not a great Tottenham team this season. They've had some good results and some poor results, but they've got some top players in that team. So, they're going to be a bit of a trial, and it'll be, sort of remaining to see what team Clement puts out there on Thursday, given the fact that he hasn't got Danny and Hadji, who've been 2 of the best players. And obviously the big one on Sunday is the Cup final. Now, some people are calling for action to be taken against Danilo. Why, you may ask, do people want action taken against Danilo? Well, he scores a goal on Sunday, and then apparently he goes to celebrate, or not apparently about it. We know he goes to celebrate with the fans, and he sits on the advertising hoardings. Now, some people are saying that this should have been a yellow card. Others are saying that because there was no yellow card, he should be punished retrospectively. Because obviously, he shouldn't be getting involved with the crowd. But I'll be honest with you, to me, again, it just smacks of absolute killjoy. It smacks of taking the joy out of football. It smacks of just taking the joy away from scoring a goal. Now, the situation is this at this moment in time. We've got goals being reviewed by VAR, which kill the game, and fans are unsure whether to celebrate or not celebrate when the goal was given. If the goal was given, of course, then there's this kind of muted celebration of types. because everyone doesn't get the message at the same time. So, I genuinely think that people are seriously trying to take the joy and trying to take the entertainment out of football. It's an entertainment game, and that sort of action from Danilo is spot on. You see players in other leagues. I remember Mo Salah doing it. I think it was against Brighton, Liverpool's 2-1 victory in that game. So look, I'll be honest with you. I think again it's Killjoys getting involved, and they need to just leave the game alone. There's far too many changes taking place that have just ruined this game of ours. Right, let's move it along again, guys. A bit more content for you this morning, this afternoon, or this evening. Right, let's look at Celtic v Rangers just in League Cup finals. Only in League Cup finals, not in Scottish FA Cup, not in League, not in any other competition, just in the League Cup. Now, according to this graphic, Rangers and Celtic have met 16 times in the League Cup, and it is all square on 8 wins out of 8. Celtic pulling even with their last time we played them in the League Cup, them winning in that cup, winning in that game. So, look, at the moment it's 8-8, right? It's in terms of victories. In terms of goals, they're a little bit ahead of us, 4 goals ahead of us. They've scored 23, we've scored 19. It's a situation that is very delicately poised, and I'm hoping that by the end of Sunday that will read 9 wins RFC, 8 wins Celtic. If we look back across the results record against Celtic in League Cup finals in recent times, it isn't very promising. You've got to go back to 04, 05, 02, 03 and 01, 02 to get a promising run in this competition in terms of results against Celtic. Certainly the last 4 times we've met them, twice in the final, twice in the semi-final. We've come out second best in all of those games. A 2-1 in the final last year, the previous year, a 1-0 in the final to Celtic, a 1-0 semi, a 2-0 in semi. The last time Rangers actually beat Celtic in the League Cup was in 2010-2011 with a 2-1 victory after extra time. But in terms of those last few games that we've played against them, it doesn't look too promising, does it? The results are substantially favouring them. They're certainly not favouring us. So a worrying time in that aspect. But it's like I spoke about the other day, it's about time for mentality change, time to move the club forward, and a victory on Sunday really would send a message, not only to the rest of the league, but also to them that we are here, we mean business, and we are on to go on and try and challenge them this season. Whether that challenge comes off or not, who knows? But look, I'll be honest with you. I'm a lot more optimistic going into Sunday's game, not forgetting Thursday, but going into Sunday's game at the moment than I have been previously. So, I think, overall it's a promising position, going into this final in a lot better form. Same with obviously the Tottenham game on the Thursday night. So guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in Glasgow Rangers Nation today. Please hit the like, please hit the sub, please obviously comment and share the video. Thanks for watching. Please remember always, we are the people.